Sorry, students, the current had gone off. Okay, right. So we had started with the repatriation process, right? Repatriation adjustment challenge. Okay. So are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am, but ma'am, screen is not visible.
Screen is not
Like,
visible. Huh?
yeah,
Okay, okay. I'll just look at. I'll just look at.
yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So we had come down to repatriation adjustment challenge. So repatriation we had already seen. Repatriation is nothing but when an expatriate who is sent to another country, he finishes his work, his assignment, okay, and then comes back to his home country. So that particular person is being called as an repatriate, and that process of returning back is being called as process of repatriation. Okay. So here when we speak about repatriation adjustment challenge, a lot many challenges are being faced by a repatriate. So company changes, right? There are a lot many changes which have happened in the company in the years when he was absent. Okay, he has to adjust to all those changes in the company. Then again, a lot of many changes in the society might have happened. Okay, then entire family who comes back, there's a lot of adjustment of the family of the spouse. If the spouse is working, then again the spouse also has to relocate and all those things, right? And exit consideration, the expenses which occur in repatriation, the consideration which is being given to him or her when the person is traveling from his country where he is being put forth to his home country. Then it also may lead to altered perspectives. Everything will be altered. Okay, taking into consideration his position also. So if repatriation, it becomes a biggest challenge. Okay, so if you could see, planning for repatriation should begin from the day of selection. So that is the way wherein we can smoothen the repatriation, right? So when you are sending an expatriate to other country, on that particular terms itself, on that particular day when you are giving the policies and terms and policies of going as an expatriate, on that particular day itself, you have to also tell that particular person who is being sent as an international assignee to another country what would be the repatriation process. Okay, so repatriation should begin on the day of selection itself, and if that is there, then 100% the employee who is being sent abroad is having a surety that when he comes back after finishing the assignment, he'll be having a better job in his hand, okay, in the same company with all the facilities and a better support from the company. Okay, so that is what was being told by that is what is being maintained by Caroline Gould, who handles international assignments for Price Waterhoopers, that is PwC, based in Florham Park, okay, NJ. And then only 17%. Now, the truth, if we see, the fact, if we see here, 17% of the companies discuss repatriation prior to an employee departure. Okay, so only 7%, 17% of the companies, they look into discussion of repatriation prior to sending the employee as an expatriate to another country, according to the survey conducted by Global Relocation Trend Survey in 1999, which was sponsored by Windham International, the National Foreign Trade Council, and the IIHR. Okay, so this is the fact basically, students, that many of the companies do not concentrate on repatriation process. They are only concentration, or their only task is sending the employee there, getting the work done. That's it. So when the task is over, they do not even see up about the employee. Okay, repatriating employee. Okay, so that's what is the fate of the repatriates. Okay, so repatriation is traditionally neglected. Okay, just a minute here. So repatriation basically is traditionally neglected. Okay, and neglected stage, in the whole process of expatriation cycle. Okay, repatriation is the end of an expatriation cycle, so it's totally neglected. Okay, and it's a fact that it is often not even considered as a part of assignment process. So when the work when an expatriate's work is done in that particular country, that's over. So many of the companies say that you have to put your own expenses and come back to your home country. Okay, so that is what is the fate of an of the repatriates. Okay, so however, many companies are now beginning to take repatriation issue seriously, because basically if we see, repatriates are an asset to the organization because they already have the international experience, and they can prove better a source of information to the home country. So more and more companies and big firms in particular are now offering repatriation programs. So they have, many of the companies have come out with repatriation programs for their expatriates. So before going as an expatriate, okay, that particular person is being assured of all the assistance when he'll be coming back to his home country as a repatriate. And then when the time comes wherein the repatriate would be coming home, there are a lot of programs which are being put forth for the repatriates. So often, which includes guaranteeing the job upon the return in the position, okay, which is mutually acceptable to both the parties. Okay, so here when the person is being sent as an expatriate, that time they say that okay, you will be getting the position which is mutually acceptable to you as well as for the company when you want to return back successfully. Okay, so that's what is being put forth. Expats can become delusioned if their responsibilities upon return to the home country do not live up to their expectations or reflect their experience. So when repatriate comes down to the home country, he or she should get a better position, because they already are rich source of knowledge, and they can prove as an asset to the organization. They have already gained a lot of experience. Okay, and they have already gained a better status and better position in that particular country. So when they come back to their home country, they expect the same or much better position than what is there in that particular country where they served. So here, if that is not being provided, okay, so what happens is the expatriates or repatriates who come back, they are being delusioned. Okay, they just become demotivated, and they start thinking negatively about the organization, and ultimately they will leave the organization. So without comprehensive upfront repatriation training, companies do run a risk of losing returning employees, okay, often to their competitors. Now this is what happens, right? When a repatriate returns and the company doesn't give better consideration to that particular repatriate, okay, what happens is the competitors who are there, they take the advantage of it, and they recruit those repatriates in their own company, and they become better than this old company. Okay, so that's what is the fate of certain companies who do not take repatriation issue very seriously. Okay, so since repatriates frequently return to their old positions in their home country, they are also expected to know which way the wind blows. So these are certain expectations from the company, which the expectations from the company towards the repatriates. So they want the repatriates to be returning and coming back to their old positions, and the companies expect that they understand the flow of wind. Okay, that means they understand the working and culture of the organization by their own self, and they adjust accordingly. Okay, that is what most of the companies expect. However, during the time they spend abroad, they have acquired new skills, whereas expatriates who have spent their time abroad, obviously they have got new skills, they have got better knowledge, they have got better experience. Okay, so their old work might bore the average repatriate. So whatever, if you, after the expatriate comes back home as a repatriate in the home country, and he is given the old position, obviously you do not give too much of freedom for him to implement the knowledge, skill, or whatever experience he has earned in that particular company, in that particular country. Okay, so that may be not uh, that may be not entertained by the company, home country. Okay, home country company. So what happens is, basically whatever skills, new skills he has acquired, it brings down the motivation level of the employee, and the cultural differences in the workplace often hit harder than expected. So basically, you are almost adjusted to the culture of that particular country where you are already being sent. Okay, because you have served since years in that particular country, so you're adjusted there, and suddenly you come back to the home country, it becomes very difficult for you to adjust into the workplace. Okay, culture of the workplace, there are a lot of cultural differences which happens, which takes place. So it becomes a hard hit for the repatriate. So company has to see to it that they give a better training to the employees and make them ease at the workplace. So it can happen that you can get an impression. So basically, if this happens, it can happen that you can get an impression that your skill sets. So if you are not being given too much of freedom to work, if you're not asked about your experiences there, if you're not asked to share your experiences there, if you're not given that much of responsibility and authority to implement whatever you have learned and gain success in the organization, so what happens is the employee develops, or repatriate develops, an impression that your new skill sets and experience gained abroad are not appreciated. So it may happen that the repatriates even struggle to return to their old position, either because they have already filled, many a times many companies may not give the repatriate the old position because already it is being filled by some other person. Okay, and many a times it happens that they ask the repatriate to adjust in a position which is very lower than whatever he has left. He had left the company, so that time what position he was, he gets a very lower position. Okay, so because it feels because of which he feels or she feels like taking back the step and moving out of the company. So this is the fate of most of the repatriates in many of the countries. So companies benefits for repatriates, what they give basically, there are certain benefits which are being given by the companies. First one is basically the position. Okay, so position with the company. So if you give a better position to the repatriates, then they can work better in the organization. So you have to give the position according to the new skill sets, expertise, what he has gained or she has gained while working abroad. Then cost of living, yes, company has to see to it that they fix the salary in such a way that the cost of living is being it becomes an ease for the repatriate. Okay, so basically what standard of living he had or she had while abroad, the same standard of living or similar standard of living can be put forth to the employee. Okay, by fixing a better compensation. Then you have to also see to it that you give better facilities to the family. Okay, it may be the job, helping the spouse in getting a better job, as well as the children's schoolings and all those things. You just give an assistance to the family, right? And as well the taxes and all those things, you give little bit of tax, taxes whatever is there of the home country should be explained better, and you give little bit of flexibility in taxes and all those things. So that is what basically the company gives benefit for the repatriates. So if you want an ease of repatriation program, and what are the elements of successful repatriation? First element of successful repatriation is educate and engage others. So it sounds simple, okay, but a personal thank you and a meeting with senior leadership at the company can go a long way to making the expatriate, okay, feel valued and welcomed back home. So when an expatriate comes back as a repatriate, so if a thank you letter is being given, or a personal thank you is being given, and a meeting is being scheduled with senior leaders at the company, so it may take a long way for the expatriate to feel valued and welcomed back. So they feel very happy, and it may the expatriate or the repatriate who has come back may stay for a very longer time in the organization if this one particular thing is being done. So further, companies basically should encourage and help the expatriate, provide colleagues and prospective expatriates with a realistic picture of what they achieved. Okay, so here the expatriate who comes back, okay, he has to share the knowledge, okay, and also share his achievements with the colleagues, okay, which gives a realistic picture to the colleagues about the expatriate. Okay, so how they develop professionally, that is being put forth to the colleagues. So what they had to give up, okay, that is also being put forth, what sacrifices the expatriate had made and put on hold to participate, and the cultural experiences of the assignment location, everything is being put forth to the colleagues. Okay, so this what happens is this makes the expatriate to be to be accepted by the other colleagues in the organization. Okay, so that respect is being maintained. Then involve family members where possible and appropriate to fill in the picture. So certain times it is not being done. So basically what happens is many a times they also involve the family members wherever it is appropriate in picture. Okay, so that's what we say, educate and engage others. So you educate the expatriate, okay, as well as you educate the other people or the colleagues in the organization about the expatriate, about the sacrifices what he has done, about his or her achievements. Okay, and also about the cultural prospects of cultural experience of the assignment, whatever is there, everything is to be educated and engaged to others. Okay, then afterwards the second one is compensation, right? That is one of the element of successful repatriation program. So by ensuring at the that all start of the assignment that all of the assignment related compensation is broken out. Okay, so it will be easier to avoid compensation issues upon return to the home location, and helpful in avoiding discontent from the expatriate. So whenever an expatriate is being sent, okay, from home country to the foreign country, okay, or abroad on some particular work or assignment for years together or few years or something like that, so that time itself the compensation should be fixed. Okay, then and it should be clearly made understood to the employee based on certain terms and conditions. While coming back, this is the compensation what he will be getting. Okay, or relocation expenses which will be shared. So that said, a short-term repatriation allowance can help ease the transition as well. In addition, management also should consider offering a retention bonus, basically retention bonus for staying with the company for an additional 2 years after the assignment. So many a times retention bonus is being given. Okay, so many a times repatriation compensation is being given. So certain times what happens if it is a small assignment, then repatriation allowances are being given. And apart from that, continuing tax support, okay, providing tax support is also essential for trailing tax liabilities in the host and home countries. So there are a lot of differences between tax liabilities in the host and home countries. So to cope up with all those things, you have to also give the tax support. Okay, so through this benefit, the management may also find opportunities to bring cash back to the company and reduce some of the tax cost of the assignment. Okay, so that is what the successful repatriation program consists of in compensation. Then you have career development. So here, according to one of the survey which was conducted by Brookfield, the best method for retaining expat after they return to their home location is to offer an opportunities to use their international experience. So here you give, when they return back from the foreign land, after gaining a lot of experience and after completion of the task successfully, you give a platform to them so that they can also share the international experience. Okay, so all they can implement whatever experience they have. So good repatriation program will ensure that expats come back to an available position that is considered an advancement from pre-assignment, offering a great choice of positions is effective the as well. In any event, career discussion should start in earnest 6 to 12 months before returning to the home location. So as I said initially, when the expatriate is being sent on a international assignment, so that time you discuss this particular compensation issues or maybe relocation issues or career development issues. or maybe 6 or 12 months before returning to the home location. The choice of position has to be, there should be an offering of greater choice of position, okay, and there should be clear discussion between the employee or the expatriate and the organization, okay. So that is very much required. Then you have, uh, apart from that, ongoing support, okay. So here what happens is, regular business trips back to the home country throughout the assignment, okay, can ensure that expat does not return to an unfamiliar and isolated environment. So this is one thing which can be done to ease repatriation process. So it is not that if you put an employee to abroad for some assignment, you put them there for 2 years and you do not ask them to come back. Certain times there may be small trips to the home country, so that they are attached to the home country company also, and also they understand the cultural changes whatever are happening in the home country. And whatever unfamiliar or isolation environment, that risk is not involved in this. If you make familiar, okay, and if you bring if the expatriate is coming to the home country now and then, they become familiar with the culture, they become familiar with the colleagues in the organization. So if the return is not to the original location of departure, continued logistic supports can help. So basically, if the return is not to the original location of the departure, so continuous logistics support can help ease the transition. So for example, connecting expats with mentors who are based in the home or eventual locations can help keep expats in expats in loop and in the minds of their home country colleagues. So basically, you have to make them keep in touch, and continuous support should be given from the home country to the expats, okay, and expats should be continuously in touch with the home country colleagues, okay. So transition counseling also can help, and mentoring also can help in this particular aspect, okay, to bring out them from the cultural shock after returning home, okay, as well as their families, okay. Cultural shock will not be there if this particular continuous training or virtual meetings are being made. Then you have families, basically. So it can be difficult to overstate that impact of expats family members opinions of the repatriation on the returning expats, okay. So here it is difficult basically to overstate that the impact of expats family members opinion of the repatriation on the return expat. If it is not really good, then family members may have negative impact about the company, okay. And ultimately what happens is the employee also becomes influenced with that particular negative opinions, and automatically he or she leaves the company. So basically, after all family members living with the expatriates, okay, so here what happens is, they have the commitment, okay, to sponsoring firms as well, fine. So family members living with the expatriates, they are the commitment to sponsoring firm as well. So you cannot overlook the families, okay. So you cannot say that, oh, expatriate or repatriate only is my responsibility, their family is not my responsibility. That cannot be done. So you have to see to it that immediate family members, okay, of the expat or repats, okay, have better career prospects when they come back from their foreign location. And also the extended support from the company should be there, okay, to the repats as well as their families, okay. And see to it that they provide support whatever support is required, that is being provided, right. So that is what we say, the families also should not be underestimated. Apart from that, continuous improvement, okay. So candidly, ask the experts for feedback on the assignment and how it can be improved. Okay, that continuous improvement, company has to undergo continuous improvement by asking the expatriate about the feedback of the assignment and how it can be improved. Then also engage the expert in helping the company to implement those changes. Okay, so that involvement should be there. Okay, and these all things are done, you can have successful repatriation program. Now, one of the good example here is about the Honda company. They are the trendsetters in handling expatriates. Okay, so they define clearly the objective of the assignment before it starts. So before they send the expatriate to the other company, they define the objective of that assignment clearly. Okay, the objective can range from development of a new product to improvement in vendor relationships. So selected executive prepare themselves for the assignment by an analysis of their strengths and weaknesses well before the assignment is completed. All the expat is ready to or the expat is ready to return. Honda identifies a suitable job for him or her, okay, based on their performance on the assignment. So if they have performed really good, outstanding in their performance, they give a better position on his return. Okay, so Honda identifies suitable job for him or her and make the arrangement for debriefing session. Now that is very important thing which can be done for a repatriate, right? So they arrange debriefing session. Okay, so whatever he has learned from that particular uh, country where he was being delegated, okay, he has to come back and debrief the entire session. Okay, he has to come back and debrief the entire session. After that particular debriefing is being done, okay, then afterwards whatever strengths of the or expertise of that particular individual or repatriate is being identified and it is being captured. Okay, and that particular individual becomes a mentor to others in the organization. Okay, so here he brings in the important lessons from the assignment and he starts implementing it in the organization of the home country. So that is what basically Honda does. Okay, then according to UK repatriate study which was surveyed 124 recently repatriate employees. Okay, so it indicated five predictors for repatriate maladjustment. Okay, so here if the repatriate is not ready to adjust in the organization or in the home country, so he ranked it this particular survey ranked it into order. What is the reason? First reason is length of time abroad. So basically when he has spent too much of time abroad, okay, long years abroad, it becomes very difficult for that particular individual to come back, adjust to the home country again. Okay, apart from that, unrealistic expectations of job opportunities in the home country. So when I have already worked abroad, I have gained experience, I think myself much greater than the home country employees, and I feel that I should get a better compensation and a better position. Okay, so a royal treatment within the organization, which is not possible. Okay, so that is an unrealistic expectation which most of the repatriates have. Apart from that, downward job mobility, many a times it happens that that particular job mobility whatever is there, it will be into downward curve. Okay, and then reduce work status. Okay, so work status may be reduced, you may not be given too many responsibilities, you may not be given that much of respect and dignity in your job. Okay, and negative perception of employers support during and after repatriation. So negative perception of employers support. Okay, so basically the repatriate may feel that if I come back after finishing the assignment, the company will not value me, the employers will not give me too much of value because the work is done and I am not worthy for the organization. So many negative feelings do come in. Okay, so these are various reasons which makes the repatriate not to adjust in the home country. Okay, so global relocation trend survey shows that 60 to 70% of returnees did not know what their position would be before they came home. Okay, so here if you could see 60 to 70% of the returnees from their international assignment didn't even know what the position they would be placed when they are coming back to their home country. 60% said that their firm was vague about repatriation. That means their firm was not clear about repatriation process. Okay, about their new role as well as about their career progression. They had left them out. 40% of the repatriates leave their company within a year. Okay, so 40% of the repatriates leave the company within a year and join the competitors. So this is usually due to poor repatriation process and policies. Okay, so what is the solution for this? One is consult a design of proactive repatriation process to help you hold on employees on return. So you need to have a design, you need to prepare a pack of experts who design a proactive repatriation process. Okay, which is very active. Okay, and then help them just in the home country and hold the employees on return. Okay, so that they do not leave the organization. Then run a customized design program to suit the expatriate specific needs. So some of the expatriates will be having their specific needs, so you have to have customized design program. And then personal development profiles on return. So you just go in for career development of their employees and prepare a personal development chart or personal development profiles on return of those employees. Okay. Now moving on to career issues of repatriate. So there are certain career issues of repatriate which happens when they come back to their home country. One is job related issues. They may not be able to adjust to the job or process or procedure of the home country company, because the procedures, processes, everything may differ from that where that particular person has already worked into international assignment. Okay, so that is one of the career issues which happens, so he may not be in a position to perform better. Okay, apart from that, no post assignment guaranteed of employee. That is one of the career issue which happens after the repatriate arrives. Is being given a position in the organization, but where will he be given a special assignment? Okay, there is no guarantee of that particular thing. Okay, apart from that, loss of visibility and isolation. When an expatriate comes, he will not be able to connect with the colleagues. Everything will be new to him, so a lot of isolation happens to him. Okay, and many a times when a person has finished the work abroad and come and he has come back and he has not been given a better position, obviously visibility also is being lost. You will not be given too much of importance in the organization, so that creates a issue in the career of the repatriate. Apart from that, changes in home workplace, career anxiety. Okay, a lot of changes will happen in the home workplace after years of gather of international assignment. You come back to your home country, there will be a lot of changes in procedures which will be happen. Certain times you may not be able to adjust to those changes, and probably you may end up with career anxiety as to what to do next. Okay, and then employment relationships. Okay, career expectations will not be met. Then re-entry position, that is one of the career issue. As I said, you may not get the same position which you had left before expatriation. Okay, then devaluing of international experience. Okay, so whatever information is being given, uh, or whatever experience you share to the organization or to the management, they may devalue it, that particular experience, and a lot of adjustment in the work that is to be done. Those all become a career issue to a repatriate. Apart from that, role behavior, the way you behave in the other country and the way you behave here, there are a lot of changes which will be there. Okay, you have to behave according to the cultural fit. If that is not being done, probably you may not be accepted in the organization. Then clarity of role will not be there. You will be just given a particular position, but what you're supposed to do, okay, what exactly is your responsibility, it is not clearly put forth. And there will be a lot of role discretions. Okay, role conflict, coping with new role demands. Many a times you may be put in some new role and sudden challenge will be there for you. Okay, because it takes some time for you to adjust and understand the culture, and suddenly some challenging job is being given to you, it becomes very difficult for you to cope up with that particular demands of that particular role. And autonomy, again, is a big career issue for a repatriate. Okay, many a times it happens that there will be a lot of autonomy in the organization, you will be neglected. Okay, responsibilities, you will not be given any responsibilities. Lower pay is absolute term. Okay, that is one of the career issue. You may get lower pay than what you're getting in that particular country. Then drop in housing conditions, loss of status and pay. Okay, you may have better status, better pay and better housing conditions for you as your uh, and your family in that particular country where you are being sent. Okay, and suddenly you come back here and you are not being valued, you are not being given any benefits, the housing conditions deteriorate, and probably the status and pay also will be less. Okay, so that becomes a career issue for a repatriate. Apart from that, social factors, basically individual reactions. Okay, you have come back from abroad and still you are being paid less. Okay, that brings in lot of you know uh, sensitivity in the employee. The employee may feel very sad. Okay, and the repatriate may feel very sad. Probably the society feels that he is not worthy for that particular job, and probably his experience is not being valued. Okay, all these are different reactions, individual reactions which happen in the society. Then international experience can distance the repatriate and family socially and psychologically. Okay, so international experience, whatever the employee has gained, okay, because of that there may be a lot of problems which may happen in the family, which may not be socially as well as psychologically accepted. Okay, so it can bring a lot of difference, okay, of opinion in the family members, as well as it can distance the repatriate and the family. Okay, so the repatriate, because of all these career issues, may go into depression and so many problems may happen. So each family member undergoing readjustment. So here what happens is, it is not only the repatriate, the family members of the repatriate, including the children of the repatriate, also have to undergo readjustment. For example, if you're working somewhere in abroad and you come back to India, okay, many a times it has happened to my one of my family relative itself, right? So that particular boy who was studying there, okay, who was in fifth standard, again when when they relocated to India, that time he had to go back to fourth standard, and then again come, after passing fourth standard he had to come back to fifth standard. Okay, so there was sudden trauma for the child. Okay, so probably there are a lot of adjustments, readjustments, which the family members also have to undertake. Apart from that, health of the elders, okay, who are there in the family, all those problems do happen when repatriation. So if the company doesn't provide any support to the repatriate, a lot of issues may happen to the repatriate as well as his career. Re-establishing social networks can also be very difficult. Suddenly coming back and having a house in a new location, and then again connecting to people, okay, or that becomes very difficult. Certain times it may end up with the family members as well as the repatriate leaving the entire city or the entire leaving the organization and go and settle back to their hometown or whatever it is, right? So effect on partner's career, that is also one of the problem which happens with the repatriate. Maybe the partner is also working there, okay, and suddenly the repatriation comes in and he has to come back to the home country, and what happens to the partner? The partner cannot stay there again. The spouse also has to come back again, finding a new job for the spouse. All these are various challenges which happens to the repatriates, right? So moving down to developing international staff and multinational teams. Okay, developing international staff and multinational teams. So here, when we speak about developing international staff and multinational teams, management development. Okay, so here management development, that is gain of international experience, help in career progression. Okay, so gaining the international experience help in career progression, develop for future international business expansion. So if the business wants to expand in other countries, so that time your experience, whatever you have gained internationally, would be of a great help. So organizational development, that is accumulation of stock of knowledge, skills and abilities upon which organizations can grow in future individual development. Okay, so organizations can grow in future, they can develop, okay, individually in future, based on the accumulation of stock of knowledge, skills and ability. You need to have people, okay, who have international experience in your organization. So if you stock up those people, probably you can utilize them for the organizational development. So this is how you can develop international staff and multinational teams. And then you have individual development. Okay, so here basically when we speak about individual developments, you can go in for job rotation. Okay, then you can also look into management development tools, new range of jobs, tasks and challenges, then financial gains and career development, career advancement of the employees. Okay, so this is what brings in a lot of development in the individuals, right? Then moving on to management development tools, as I said, into individual developments. So here, when we speak about management development tools, new range of jobs, tasks, and challenges can be put forth, and financial gains and career advancements can be made. Apart from that, how international teams benefit the multinationals? One is by fostering innovation. When international teams are there, they foster innovation because they have knowledge, international knowledge. Okay, and you have varied people from various cultures, various countries, who will be working as a team, so they can foster innovation. Then organization learning will be there, as well as transfer of knowledge happens between the individuals, assists breaking down of functional and national boundaries. There will be no national boundaries, encourages diverse inputs. Okay, there will be a lot of various inputs which will be coming up from various people from various countries. Then it also assists in developing broader perspective and developing shared values. So this is how international teams benefit the multinationals. Okay, apart from that, international cadre, another choice. So separate group of expatriate managers who specialize in career of international assignments, then have permanent international assignments and move from international assignment to move from international assignment to international to internal assignments. Okay, I have typed it wrong here. Internal assignments. So here what happens is international cadre. That is also another choice apart from international teams. So here separate group of expatriate managers. Okay, the people who are there, who are being sent from to various countries, those are expatriates. So a separate group of expatriate managers who are specialized in career of international assignments. Okay, so you recruit the specialized person into who have already worked into international assignments, and then you can also have permanent international assignments there. Okay, and move from international assignments to internal assignments, so you can have an exchange of knowledge, exchange of the assignments, exchange of the skills and all those things, right? So here, moving on to knowledge transfer. Okay, knowledge transfer in multinational companies. So knowledge transfer is not solely perceived as one way movement of method from headquarters to foreign subsidiaries. So knowledge can be anywhere. It doesn't mean that only headquarters, because if it is the main headquarters, every knowledgeable person will be there in the headquarters. No, nothing like that. So knowledge can be from anywhere, from the headquarters, from the subsidiaries, from the third country nationals, or whatever it is. So here there should be transfer of knowledge. Okay, that should take place. Okay, in fact, reverse knowledge transfers from subsidiaries to headquarters is increasingly becoming an object of research. So here what companies do, it they send their employees abroad. Okay, and then afterwards they pick the knowledgeable people from that particular country. Okay, and they try to learn, the experts who are there, they try to learn things from them, and then reverse that particular knowledge back to the headquarters, which is again the object of research for the headquarters. So basically this is the main reason why they send the expatriates. Understanding the knowledge, understanding the expertise, understanding the technicalities of that particular country, and then bringing that particular knowledge back to our country and implementing it and becoming successful. So we believe that knowledge achieved by subsidiaries through best practices and innovation is fundamental for the improvement of overall performance of multinational companies. So this is all about knowledge transfer into multinational companies. So this is end of module 4. Any doubts in module 4, students? Any doubts in module 4?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. Well, move on to the next module, that is the fifth module. Okay. So moving on to the fifth module, my dear students, fifth module entirely deals with the performance management. Okay, performance management into international context. Okay, so if we see here, uh, till 1950s in America and the 1960s in Europe, approximately half to two-third of major companies had some performance appraisal processes. And in 1970s in America and the 1980s to 1990s in UK, it was government legislation concerning such things as the same opportunity or the civil rights, etc., was given. Okay, so which compelled the organization to adopt some sort of system. So performance management system are a powerful tool. Please understand, students, performance management system are a powerful tool for change, and they were used in 1980s to 1990s to try to bring about change in public sector ethos and culture. So resulting from these efforts, there are now deep value differentiations between the new performance culture and the historic public sector service cultures. Okay, So historic service cultures was based on principles of equality and experience, and people in the same job with the same experience as well as same qualification expected and got the same pay and had around the same prospects of promotion. So this was a historic performance appraisal which was being done. So by providing many years of service, one gained experience and showed loyalty and commitment, as well as learned the corporate culture. So reward and their seniority was based on number of years of service, and if there was same they were in the same job, they were paid equally irrespective of performance. So this is basically what was being followed into public sector units priorly. So basically after that, into global terms, performance management, which was being described as process basically which allows an international company or multinational enterprise to evaluate and constantly improve individual and corporate performance in relation to preset goals and targets. So here the performance management term came into consideration, whereas it was being described as the process, okay, which allows international companies or multinational enterprises, MNEs, to evaluate and constantly improve individual performance as well as corporate performance in relation to preset goals and targets. So managing employees, okay. Apart from that, furthermore, performance appraisals were being considered as a key human resource activity of key human resource activity which can influence the implementation of business strategy within the organization. Okay, so managing employee performance was based on organizational needs, strategic requirement, and customer preference. Please understand, students, employee performance was being managed based on organizational needs, strategic requirement, and the customer preferences. Okay, and that was the crucial aspect into international human resource management. The performance of an expatriate. Now, who is going to perform here? The performance of an expatriate. Okay, so here it widely depended on variety of issues such as compensation, cultural adjustment, task and job roles, as well as support from headquarters and the host environment. So when we speak about performance management of an expatriate, it entirely depended on first the compensation which was being set to the expatriate. Second, cultural adjustment of an expatriate, whether he was adjustable to that particular culture where the employee was being sent. Then task and job roles, whether the task and job roles match to his knowledge, skill and ability, and as well as the support from the headquarters and the host environment. If any one of this is missing, then expatriate performance would come down to a standstill. There would not be any performance of an expatriate. So here, these are the variety of issues, okay, which do come in for when you speak about expatriate performance. Okay, so here, if you could see next, challenges of international performance management. I hope you have understood about the expatriate performance here. So expatriate will face a number of problems when they take up the jobs within a foreign country. Okay, so you have to see to it that as the headquarters and the home country, you have to see to it that the expatriates do not face this type of issues or this type of challenges, and you provide a great supporting environment to the expatriates so that they can perform better in the foreign land. Okay, so foreign environment. So furthermore, expatriates may also face difficulty in adjusting to the foreign culture. Okay, and it will be up to the MNEs to ensure that they acclimatize, as this is vital to expatriate being able to perform at the best of the terms of job in hand. Okay, so host environment will also pose challenge due to combination of several other factors such as social, economical, legal, technological, and physical complications. So, lot many physical complications may happen, social, economical, legal complications, or technological legal complications may happen. Therefore, taking everything into account, it is absolutely vital, as well as crucial performance variables, that sufficient level of support is to be provided to an individual as well as to their families, both by the headquarters and the home country. Please understand, students, to the expatriate as well as the family of the expatriate. The support has to be extended to both. okay, from the home country as well as the host country. Now, moving on to the challenges of international performance management. First challenge is total company versus parts of it. Okay, so we'll just look into these challenges of international performance management into the next class. Okay, I'll be sharing the video of this particular uh, class. Okay, you can also look into the video, and if any questions are there, you can ask in the next class. Right? Thank you very much, students.
Thank you, ma'am.